KXAN's Jacqulyn Powell is live for us with what witnesses watched unfold and why police say it was necessary to take him down. Jacqulyn.
Well, Sydney, you can see there's still a big scene out here 8 hours later. A lot of police are still in this intersection investigating. If you look down here, we're going to zoom in here to this black car with the front car door open right now. You can see that it looks like it's been wrecked, has a little damage. That's the car that the shooter was driving. Police used the pit maneuver to stop the driver here in this intersection. That forced him to turn sideways and lose control. Officers say from there, he got out, pulled a gun, and began shooting. It was just boom, 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 boom. And then chaos at this pet grooming center on Mesa Drive.
All the dogs go crazy, of course. Customers are coming in saying, hit the ground, we've locked the doors, there's a gunman, we don't know what's going on. Right after that, it was just sirens after sirens after sirens.
It all happens within seconds. And what do you do at that point?
Erin Hansen was in the intersection right as the chase ended. She says she saw the man in this car get out, point his gun at police, and start firing.
I duck and thinking, I don't know what good this is going to do, but at least I stay down until the shots stop. There were probably 10 to 20 shots exchanged.
Officers shot back. Once the gunfire stopped,
It was just like, okay.
Heather McCord and her staff went out to get a better look.
He was on the ground, he had his hands above his head, kind of just moving his arms. You could tell that he was talking to the cops, that he was responding, that he was awake.
The man, who police say is in his late 20s, was taken to the hospital where he underwent surgery for gunshot wounds. APD Chief Brian Manley says both the DA's office and APD are investigating.
There was an absolute need to take this suspect into custody, not knowing where he may go or what other violent acts may occur.
I'm very thankful for how quickly that the officers acted and how efficient it all seemed. I mean, it's unfortunate that anybody gets hurt, but I'm glad that it was only the shooter.
Well, Chief Manley tells us he watched dash cam footage of the takedown. He says in that footage it was very clear that the suspect was driving very dangerously and aggressively before he stopped in the intersection. He said on that footage it was also clear that when he got out of his car, he was clearly pointing a gun at the officers. Both of those officers who fired back at the suspect have been placed on paid administrative duty during the investigation. Live in Austin, Jacqulyn Powell, KXAN News. Well, Robert, Sydney, a whole bus full of people witnessed this happen as the suspect swerved around a Cat Metro bus that was parked right here, then jumped up on this curb, hit and killed a man who was standing right here. And one of the witnesses we spoke to actually captured it on video. He showed us as the suspect jumped out of his truck, came and checked on the victim, and then took off.
He was driving very erratic at a high rate of speed.
Eric Stewart says he couldn't believe what was unfolding as he watched.
The truck came up on the sidewalk and just ran past the bus so fast, and the bus driver opened the door and there it was. He was just laying there, just not moving.
Stewart says he saw this man and a passenger get out of the truck and walk toward the victim. You can see the suspect bend down and touch him as others try to make sense of the scene. Then the suspect leaves.
For that guy just to come back and see that and just drive off, that was so sad. That was so sad, man.
Police released this photo of the truck the suspect was driving. It's a white GMC Sierra 4-door. Police even know the license plate number. Investigators hope someone can help lead them to this man. Meanwhile,
traffic's out here crazy. It's crazy.
Others who use the stop are on edge.
Yeah, it's kind of scary because I take the same bus. You know, I don't want to get hit. It's terrifying.
Saying there's only so much they can do to stay safe.
I just try to stay as close to the sidewalk as possible. You know, be mindful of people and my surroundings.
After watching what happened today, Stewart couldn't even do that.
At the end, I just called a cab. I called a cab and came to work. I usually catch the bus.
And again, APD is still asking any other witnesses who were here at the time of the crash to come forward. Live in Austin, Jacqulyn Powell, KXAN News.
The bullets came through the window here.
Roger Jeanson says he just laid down for bed.
Next thing I remember is screaming in pain that, damn it, I'd just been shot twice.
Stray bullets had come straight into his room and through his back.
One bullet blew a hole in the top of my hip.
The other shattered on some bone. If he hadn't been lying with his back to the window, it could have killed him. Or, he says even worse, hit his wife.
Could have been both of us, very easily. Especially with that other bullet they're digging out of the tree.
Investigators found multiple rounds were shot out front of Jeanson's house, likely a celebratory gunfire.
On New Year's Eve, for whatever reason, people are possessed with the fact that they got to shoot their guns.
But when ringing in the new year,
You know, this is just inches away from somebody being killed.
turns deadly,
This is a jailable offense
detectives say they have enough leads.
that we will resolve who fired the weapon.
In the meantime,
I'm getting good on this thing.
Jeanson says he can live with the injuries. The hard part,
Got to live with what did it. That's the part that's scary. Going to bed every night worried about is somebody going to shoot my wife.
he hopes his story will get this message across.
Don't be an idiot. If you're going to shoot guns, learn how to shoot them. Learn when and where to shoot them. Please don't drink and shoot guns and set them off for fireworks. Think of somebody else around you and their family that you may take.
Jacqulyn Powell, KXAN News.
We've talked a lot about what a talented bass player Jacqulyn Mason was at just 17. But tonight, I learned at an even younger age, he was a black belt in karate. And he leaves a legacy behind there, too.
I tell you what, every minute that I look at this picture, it hurts.
Photos of Jacqulyn Mason hang all across the Fire Dragon Martial Arts School in Pflugerville.
And he loves showing what he can do. And he proved it here at Fire Dragon.
Grandmaster Moses Williams began teaching Mason at age 5.
I'm gonna be a black belt one of these days. First thing come out of his mouth. At 10, he was a black belt.
And then he went on to teach.
He started teaching adults when he was like 14. I had a guy tell me, how am I gonna learn from this kid? I say, this kid is not your average.
Scrolling through Mason's Instagram, it's not hard to see.
Music was his top love, and then martial art was his second love. Outstanding bass player, guitar player, keyboard player, cello player, and then he was one of my #1 students.
Williams says his entire school, those who taught Mason and the students Mason then taught, are in shock.
Even though I'm talking to you with a straight face, I'm very brokenhearted, I'm crushed that someone would do this.
Williams says Mason's mom, who was also hurt in the explosion, is recovering. He says as Mason had plans to head to college,
one thing he didn't want her to do was struggle while he was in school. And he said, I can't wait to get my full ride so Mama can rest.
Now, Williams says Mason's community here plans to honor him by rallying around her.
And I pray to God that he's up there and he's looking down of how many people not only miss him, but love him.
Grandmaster Williams told me Mason died a 3rd-degree black belt rank, but it was his dream to become a master black belt. So at his funeral, his instructor is going to present him with that master rank. The karate school also plans to set up a scholarship fund in his name. Live in Austin, Jacqulyn Powell, KXAN News.
We were definitely very shocked that out of all the businesses that they would have chosen Austin Med Spa.
Suzette Smith says there's no clear connection as to why her spa would be a target in Mark Condit's bomb attacks.
He wasn't a client of ours and we didn't know him.
Still, she says the 6th bomb was addressed to one of her employees, the one who's responsible for receiving mail in their office. That employee doesn't want to be named, but her mom, who also works at the spa, describes getting a call from the FBI that her daughter's name was on the package as horrific.
We asked to come in and answer a few questions. And
she can't say much about what investigators told her, but she says they're pretty sure the bomb wasn't specifically for her daughter, but rather this entire place.
we're told that we were targeted here at the spa, just generally.
The women believe they were randomly chosen because of the spa's central location.
Everybody just assumes that it's not going to affect them or it's going to be someone else's house. And frankly, we probably felt that same way too.
They're grateful to law enforcement for keeping them safe, but they know others are still hurting.
And we just feel for the families that, have been really struck tragically by the actions of this man.
Anita Falkenberg says she and her daughter were initially brought in for questioning by police on Tuesday when the bomb was first found. Since then, they and Smith say the FBI has continued to follow up with questions as investigators try and figure out why Condit would target them. Live in Austin, Jacqulyn Powell, KXAN News.
People come to Barton Springs by the masses for a number of reasons.
And the water beautiful, it's clear, it's cold.
Good mix of people here. It's fun people watching.
But they don't come expecting a car break-in or theft. Officers say that's exactly what this packed parking lot creates an opportunity for.
People, when they go hiking or they're cycling out on the trails or they're jumping into Barton Springs Pool, they're not jumping in with their wallets and their iPhones.
The bad guys know that, and too often, Officer Rosie Perez says, people forget to hide their belongings in the trunk. Over the weekend,
we had some broken windows, we had some punched side door locks,
purses and a wallet stolen out of cars that had been locked.
Just checking this small front section of the parking lot next to the pool,
I counted 3 purses, a backpack, 2 pairs of keys, and an iPhone.
all in plain sight for anyone who'd want to break in and take them.
But even for those who carry their things into the pool area with them,
I take it all. Yeah, I don't trust anybody.
Officer Perez has a warning.
use the lockers.
She says on Sunday, when a man left his keys and wallet and a backpack by the pool,
The suspect got a hold of the bag and then utilized the stuff inside the bag to then steal the vehicle.
a horrible situation that Perez says is completely avoidable. Jacqulyn Powell, KXAN News.
It's surreal. Like, even when we go home, we'll probably just sit down and be like, wow, that just happened.
A week after giving birth, Kimber and Ethan Martinez say they're still figuring out the whole parents of triplets thing.
Can you tell them apart? No. Nope. Not yet. Not yet. Just by their bracelets.
Anthony, Ian,
And that's Sebastian.
Yeah, that's Sebastian. We delivered 3 babies on December 3rd. I was 33 weeks and 3 days, and we came to the hospital at 3 a.m. Yeah, that was crazy.
3's a lucky number, I guess.
Yeah.
lucky is a good word for it.
I mean, the rarity of triplets themselves, and then all the perfect things that have to line up.
In 10 years, their doctors never delivered triplets without a C-section, and it had never been done at Seton Medical Center Hayes either. But
The way that they were laying, the size, the way I was carrying them, everything was just set up perfectly to do it. There was no reason to do C-section.
so the hospital brought in an entire special team for the delivery.
We started planning weeks ahead of who needed who, making sure all our teams were available and on call.
So many nurses and doctors in the room that even the baby's grandmothers had to wait out in the hall and listen through a cup on the wall.
You're in that moment, you don't really think about who's looking at you and what they're seeing or anything like that. It's just everyone's there doing their job, making sure me and babies are good.
And thanks to that team,
They're doing awesome. They're doing great.
3 perfectly healthy, identical brothers.
I wouldn't have changed it. It was a lot tougher than I thought it would be, but I'm glad that I was able to do it.
Jacqulyn Powell, KXAN News.